Hey guys, today I wanted to do a video all about my newborn must-haves. Now, these are just mine. I know that everybody has completely different things that they like and use, but the beginning stage, newborn stage for me was about survival. And I just needed things that eased my mind and made things so much easier for me. And there were a lot of things that I purchased that ended up being completely unnecessary, that ended up being a complete waste of money. So I'll talk about some of those in here as well. But I wanted to give you my list of things that if you're having a baby, things that ended up being extremely helpful for me and ended up being worth the purchase. There are a lot of videos on YouTube, so you should look around and see, what other people have to say, because everyone's gonna have completely different things that they recommend, and you might completely disagree with my list, and that's totally fine. This is just what I went through and used and ended up actually feeling like it was worth the money and worth the purchase. All of this stuff that I am telling you in today's video is stuff that I found helpful, but none of it is an absolute necessity by any stretch of the imagination at all. The thing is that this stuff is all perks on top of it. You don't need any of this. Everyone can, you can totally get by with anything that works for you. I mean, my God, you can do what works for you and your family, and this is just what worked for me. But I want to make it very clear that this stuff that I'm talking about in this video, when I say newborn must-haves, no, you absolutely must not have any of this stuff. But if you're looking for stuff or recommendations or kind of a mini review on any of this stuff, maybe this is the place for you. But yeah, all this stuff is crazy dumb expensive, and it's not an absolute necessity for any of it. Don't feel bad if you don't have it, because you know what? The stuff that I might like, you might hate. I've watched a lot of videos of people recommending things, like everyone said I needed the DockATot, and so I purchased it, and it ended up not really, I didn't really find that it was that necessary beyond like the first 2 weeks. So I just want to make it very clear before I get into this video that you guys absolutely don't need any of this stuff. You don't need to go out and buy a bunch of shit. Everyone will make you feel like you do, and even in this video it's going to make it sound like I do, because I'm talking very highly of some of these products that were very helpful to me. But at the end of the day, what works for you is great for you. If none of these are what work for you, that's totally fine. You might have a completely simplistic setup. You might have things that are way more advanced. You might completely disagree with things that I'm saying. So that's really, it's individual to every person. And these must-haves are really just things that I found were helpful to us during this time, but absolutely, totally not necessary for most of it. So I just wanted to say that, and let's get into it. Okay, so my first absolute number one, top of the list, if I could tell you to get nothing else and recommend one item that I hate that I like as much as I do, it's the Snoo. If you don't know what the Snoo is, I'm going to briefly explain it. And trust me, I want to preface this by saying, I know that this is ridiculously expensive. It is stupid, the price that it is. It should not be this much money. I get why it is when you have one and you can see how well it's constructed and how nice the tech is and everything like that. But it is really a shame that it is this expensive, because it is so life-changing. It is the one product that, if nothing else on my list, this is the one product I would keep, because it changed my life. That sounds really, really dramatic, but if you don't know, I had my baby back in December, and it was a very traumatic birth, which if you guys haven't seen, I'll link the birth story so you guys can watch it if you're interested in seeing the birth story. And I developed severe, instantaneous postpartum anxiety, to the point that I wasn't sleeping. I didn't sleep for the first 6 days of his life, and maybe 2 hours over the course of 6 days. Like, it was bad. And the lack of sleep was not just from the postpartum anxiety, but it was also that my baby would not sleep. And I think this is true for many, many newborns. They don't like to sleep unless they are on you, directly near you, touching you. And when they're in their bassinet next to you, it's extremely difficult because they won't sleep. At least my baby, he literally would not sleep if he wasn't moving or touching me. And I had this huge anxiety that he was going to stop breathing in his sleep. And so I couldn't sleep. I could not sleep at all. And it hugely impacted my mental health in an extremely negative way, being as sleep deprived as I was. And so it got to a point a few weeks after he was born to where I was sleeping just a couple of hours a day. I was starting to get delirious. I was crying every day. It made my postpartum depression and anxiety 10 times more when I wasn't sleeping. And I know for a fact that that was really negatively contributing, because when I did go to the doctor and I talked to them about it, she said, I'm gonna prescribe you sleep. You need to sleep. And I was like, I fucking can't. And she was like, you have to sleep at least 1 4-hour stretch. You can survive on that little sleep, but you need to sleep for 4 hours. And I literally, that sounded like a dream to me. I was in 45-minute increments, maybe sometimes, because they say sleep when the baby sleeps. Literally impossible. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You can't sleep when the baby sleeps because you can't fucking sleep. So the reason I talk about the Snoo is because in the beginning, I had this, so I've had it since before he was born. But when he was a tiny little newborn, he was born 6 pounds, 9.6 ounces. So he was really, really small. I put him in the Snoo his first night to sleep. And for me, with my postpartum mom anxiety, I could not see his tiny little body in this, what I felt was a machine soothing my newborn. I needed to get past that stage into the true sleep deprivation before I was like, okay, let's give it a go. So a Snoo, if you don't know what it is or you haven't heard of it before, it is a bassinet, and it has completely mesh siding, and it's a really not that big at all. It's really beautiful too, the way that they made it look. It fits in beautifully with like that mid-century modern look. And the bassinet is a smart sleeper. So basically, you put them in it, you press the button, or you have an app associated with it. It is connected to Wi-Fi. You can turn off the Wi-Fi if you feel uncomfortable with that, but we'll get there in a second. The bassinet has a swaddle in it called the Snoo sack. It's really, really fast. You literally set them in that, you Velcro over down their arms so that they're down to their sides. You zip it up, it's really, really fast. And then it has these little straps that snap into the sides. So these little loops slide on, and then you either press the button or turn it on with your app, and it slowly and gently moves. If your baby starts to stir, starts to fuss, starts to cry, it senses that and it picks up motion. And it will go up to, I think, level 3. I have mine set at a motion limiter so it doesn't go too high. We've been using this, my baby is 5 months old now, so we've been using this the whole time. I think I started it at about 3 or 4 weeks old when I started using it, and that's when I was like, I'm so tired, I have to do anything, and I wished I had used it sooner. It picks up speed to soothe them back to sleep. Obviously, if your baby's hungry or needing to be fed, that's not going to work, and they're gonna need to be taken out. And the Snoo will only let that happen, that soothing, for I think about 3 minutes before it stops and says, get your baby. You're gonna get them before that most likely, because you don't wanna hear your baby crying. I mean, at least for me. So anyway, it can help soothe them back to sleep. It's essentially you rocking your baby, but it does it for you. Now, I've heard some people say, oh, so why don't you just pick your baby up and rock them? You're having the machine do it for you? Look, when you have a baby and you are rocking and holding them all day long, they're eating all day long, you must sleep. It is absolutely pertinent that you get your sleep. You cannot be your best self. You cannot take care of yourself and your mental health if you are so sleep deprived that you can't see straight. And it's not healthy for anybody. It's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for you taking care of your baby. You need to sleep and prioritize sleep. It's very, very important. And any way that you can do that is great. So for me, I don't like that whole like, oh, well, it's a replacement for you. You should be soothing them. Absolutely, and you are all day long. But nighttime is for sleep. And if you are getting sleep, you're going to be a better parent the next day to be able to take care of them. So I don't feel guilty for the Snoo doing what it can do, because essentially it's not replacing me. It's the baby's asleep. They just fuss and they need that sort of rocking motion, and it can help soothe them back down. And if it's because of hunger, they'll let you know. And then you get up and feed them, and then that's it. We started using it when I was like at my wit's end. And I will tell you that it took us from him sleeping 45-minute stints where I was waking up every 45 minutes, and I wasn't waking up every 45 minutes because it's not like you put him down to sleep and you're instantly asleep again. It takes me a minute to fall asleep. And with the severe anxiety that I had, it took me a long time. Sometimes I actually couldn't sleep because my brain would not stop. It was just going over this cycle over and over and over again. But it took us from being able, those 45-minute stretches, to like 2.5 hours for his first sleep. And I was like, oh my God. And it didn't even have to soothe him. Just the gentle rocking motion made him feel like he was being carried. It's that 4th trimester. You know, they talk about you have your 3 trimesters during pregnancy, and then babies are born and they still need that rocking motion. They still need that white noise, and the Snoo has both. It has rocking and white noise, and it was a game changer for us, you guys. It was every single time I put him in it, it was longer and longer sleep, and to the point where there was one night that I only had to wake up I think once or twice in 7 or 8 hours, and I literally felt like a new woman, and it changed my world. And now we're, you know, on month 5 of using it, and we are coming out of the 4-month sleep regression, which I'll make a completely separate video about that. He sleeps great in it, and it is so helpful because there are times where he's just extra needing the movement, and so you can kind of bump up the speed a little bit. You can bump up the white noise. You can really help to soothe your baby without constantly having to be hands on them, because you know what? You have to do some stuff sometimes. Sometimes you need to shower, you need to eat, and sometimes you just need your evenings to yourself because, you know, all day long you've been taking care of a little baby, and you're human too. You need that time. So for me, the Snoo is my #1. If I could recommend it to every single person, I would and do. Now the downside, and I could go on, I might actually do a full separate video on the Snoo if you guys are interested, like a full review showing you, talking to you about every single feature, how it's worked for us, showing you our good nights, showing you our bad nights. I mean, he has slept through the night only once where he slept from 7 to 7. But it was magical and incredible. And not only that, but there have been many nights, like most of the time he sleeps from about 7 until about 3 o'clock in the morning, wakes up from 3 until about 4, he's feeding, and then he's back down from 4 to 6 or 6:30. That's beautiful for me. I mean, it's been really, really incredible, and that's because of the Snoo. Am I nervous about weaning him from it and switching him to a crib? Never been more nervous about anything. But you know what? That's coming in about the next month or so. So I'll let you know how that goes. But the biggest downside of the Snoo is the cost. It is $1,300. It is stupid expensive. And yes, I paid for it. I have no affiliation with Snoo at all. Kind of wish I did. But they also have a rental program. So if you are really interested in getting it, I think it costs about $108 per month. Now babies can only use it until they're about 6 months old, and then you need to wean them from the Snoo. The cost is extremely, extremely, extremely high, and I hate that. But if you can swing it, I think is worth it. And you can send it back. If it's not working and you're like, hey, this isn't, my baby hates it, because some kids don't seem to like it. I can't imagine that, because mine, like, it's literally life changing, and you really need to give it a go. The first few times it's gonna be rough, but then once they get used to that, oh my God, it was like a game changer for me. Safe sleep wise, according to the AAP, where they say back to sleep, you want your baby on their back in a firm surface in a bassinet or a crib, and no pillows, blankets, anything like that. Snoo could not be safer. The sides are mesh, so it's breathable and it lets in nice fresh air, and they don't overheat. It's got a nice firm mattress. It's got a sleep positioner, which some people are iffy on, but they can't get out of it. Like, they're actually, from what I was reading, they're trying to get the Snoo approved as an FDA approved, like, safe sleep device, so that it's available through insurance, because it is so amazing. I think I read a statistic the other day that said 100 million hours of sleep have been had in the Snoo, and there has not been one infant death, which is incredible. I wish that I could gift one to every new parent in the world, because I feel like it would change the game for a lot of people, and mental health for me was the #1. Okay, moving on from that, my #2 item, and these aren't necessarily in order, but I am breastfeeding, so that is something to keep in mind too. So if you do plan on breastfeeding, or if you are giving it a go, then I would suggest, hands down, the My Breast Friend pillow. Now, the My Breast Friend is, it clips around you, and it has like this big flat pillow surface on the front. And instead of like a Boppy, which I would recommend getting a Boppy too, but the Breast Friend pillow is extremely helpful. It's got a really firm, flat surface, and because it clips around you, it's really sturdy. And I just can't tell you, I've used it every single day since I've had him, and it has been a game changer for me. Now, I keep a Boppy downstairs for when I'm like feeding him throughout the day, and I keep my Breast Friend pillow upstairs on our glider, which I'm gonna talk about in a minute. And that's like our nap and nighttime pillow. It gives a better height, I feel, to comfortable breastfeeding instead of like the Boppy, which for me, because I'm kind of chubbier, it sits around me, but it like kind of falls off. It's still okay, and I would still recommend it, but I would, if you have to pick between one of the two, Breast brand 100%. You can get it at Target. I think it's like 30 bucks or something like that. And it's just been literally so incredible. I cannot say enough good things about it. If you plan on breastfeeding, please, the Breast Friend, hands down, is the best, and you will not regret it. The next would be the Boppy. Because it has that like sort of rounded surface, I just find that the baby sort of rolls off a little bit, or it starts to slide off and I have to keep repositioning it. But I do like it, and I find that it's what I like to take with me when we're leaving the house. So like when we go on walks, I just throw the Boppy over the top of our stroller and head out, and it's great. Like that's what we take when we're going like, oh, well, we need to go out and do some errands today. Well, I'm gonna bring the Boppy with me and I can feed him in the car real quick. And for me, it's more of my kind of travel pillow. So I still would recommend it. It's a really, really good pillow, and I just feel like it's worth it for me. My next biggest, most used purchase is going to be the Baby Leto Kiwi recliner glider. Now, I didn't know if I should get one, and I asked on Twitter before I had him, should I get a glider or a rocking chair, or should I just say screw it and just nurse him on the couch? And every person was like, get one. And I didn't think I would use it. Heaven help me if I don't use it 6, 8 times a day. I mean, I literally use it so much, and it is a game changer. Now, I was gonna get the one from CB2, I can't remember what it's called. It's like a big cushy chair. I've seen a lot of people get it. Now this one I'm really glad I got because it is a glider, like rocking chair style, but it is also a recliner. And it is so nice. It has a little USB phone charger on the inside. It also has a couple buttons to like lean all the way back. You can put just the feet up and keep it upright. It's really, really nice. I get so much use out of it. It's not ugly. It's not like anything crazy looking, but it's just so helpful. I keep it in our bedroom because his little nursery area is in our bedroom, and I keep it right there next to the bed so I can get up. I leave my Breast Friend pillow sitting on it. When I wake up in the middle of the night, I clip that on. I come over, I put him on my lap, and I feed him in that chair. Every single day. We do it for naps and nighttime feeds, and it has been a game changer. So if you're looking for a really good one, I really like the Baby Leto Kiwi a lot. So for a newborn, I made a huge mistake. I bought a ton of clothes for newborns that he never ended up wearing. For me, because he was so tiny when he was born, I didn't like manipulating him to like put him into these extravagant outfits. It was frustrating. He hated having his diaper changed. He hated having his outfit changed. He would scream at bloody murder the entire time. So for us, it was about quick diaper changes and something comfortable and something easy. And what that ended up being was gowns. I did not put that baby in a 2-piece outfit to save my life. Even in, they call them like baby grows in the UK, or like footy pajamas here. They were too finicky for me. It was all about the gown. I loved either a knotted gown or ones that had the open bottom, because it was just that simple to change a diaper. You just literally pull it up, change the diaper, pull it back down. You don't have to unzip, unsnap, do anything like that, pull their little legs in and out. Anything for me that would help me to do the most quick, cryless diaper changes was huge for me. So any sort of baby gown for me, if I were having another baby right now, I literally would only purchase for newborn the knotted gowns or the open bottom gowns. I wouldn't do anything else. That's my biggest thing, is that I wasted a ton of money on like short sleeve onesies. Hello, you had your baby in December. You're not gonna use that. Another thing that a lot of people said, it's 50-50. I feel like half people say that they're good and half people say that they're not. But for me, a wipe warmer was really, really useful. We still use it. And I know that there's some issues about them not being safe. We haven't had any issues with ours. Unless you like pile stuff on top of it, it can get really, really hot. But if you let it like breathe, we haven't had any issues. But I don't want to speak for anybody. You know, we haven't had any fire safety or anything like that issues. But I will say that for my newborn specifically, having warm wipes was the difference between an absolute cry fest of screaming hell and a baby that was fine. That cold wipe on the butt was just, it was too much. And before we got the wipe warmer, which we got about a week after he was born, we were warming them up in our armpits, and they were cold for me. So I just feel like for me, for a little tiny baby that's just not quite used to the world yet, it was really, really helpful to have that wipe warmer. And we just got ours at Target, and we love it. We love it so much. Another thing we used an unbelievable amount in the beginning that we don't really use a ton now, just mostly because we have our routine so set in stone now, is these little lights that I saw advertised to me on Instagram called Fravita. And they're like these little ball orb lights, and they are off when they're flipped upside down, but when you flip them over, they gently and slowly turn on. And for me, for nighttime diaper changes, for just anything, if you need to like, oh, where's my phone? You need to see where things are. I used the crap out of those little lights. They were really, really helpful. And I just feel like for me, they're not super cheap, but they're not extremely expensive, but I feel like I got a lot of use out of them. They're rechargeable. They can get pretty bright, those little tiny lights. They can also get extremely dim. So if you just need a little bit of light so you're not like rousing the baby in the middle of the night, super helpful. I really liked those. Hatch Grow. And it's a changing pad. We still use it today, but it also is a scale and it connects to your app via Bluetooth. And basically you zero it out, lay the baby on it, change the diaper, and then you can also weigh your baby on it. And for me in the beginning, to know if I was producing enough milk, if baby was growing, or if baby was losing weight, it was extremely helpful to have on hand. And it's pretty freaking accurate because I know that we would weigh him and then we would go to the doctor, and when they would weigh him, it would be very, very similar, if not exact. So I'm really happy with it. It's been great. I mean, I have no complaints about it at all. It's a really, really useful tool. I don't really weigh him as much now. I probably weigh him like once every 2-3 weeks now because I could just see visibly that he's doing well and gaining weight. But in the beginning, when they're so tiny and you're like, am I producing milk? Am I not? I don't know. I just found it to be extremely helpful and just like a huge ease of my mind to have that scale. Now you don't need that. You can use any sort of, anything, and they probably have cheaper scales, but for me, it was a changing pad to sit on top of the dresser plus scale in one. So it is relatively expensive, but for me, I'm glad that I got it. Another product from Hatch is the sound machine. Now white noise is a game changer when it comes to having a baby. I don't know about everybody else, but for me, if he does not have white noise, every little thing wakes him up. So the Hatch sound machine, it's like the Hatch Brest, I think is what it's called. We love it. We love it so much. We use it every single day. Now we keep it on the TV static setting, and I put it up kind of louder because I noticed that when I started doing louder white noise, he started sleeping longer stretches, and it was a combination of the white noise plus the Snoo, game changer. So for us, having that Hatch sound machine is really nice. Plus it's small enough that if you need to, you can travel with it. I really like it. It has a ton of different white noise settings in it, but for me, I am not gonna use like birds chirping. That's gonna do shit all for him for sleep. So I put it on the TV static, and you can also, it has a light on there as well, and the full color spectrum, so you could make it a blue, a red, a purple, a pink, a green. But I don't even use the light on it because I just feel like the less light and stimulation he has, the better at night. I would 100% recommend that. So another product that we've gotten more use out of than a ton of other things is actually the Fisher-Price Snugga-Puppy Swing. Now, I did a lot of asking online and researching like Mamaroo or the Fisher-Price one, or we got the Rockaroo. Waste of money 100%. I'm telling you right now, from one parent to another, don't waste your money on the fucking Rockaroo. The Rockaroo is a complete waste of money. It was expensive, pointless, dumb, hasn't been used, baby hates it, isn't strong enough, is dumb. I hate it. I wish I wouldn't have bought it. I went against other people's suggestions, thought that it would take up less space, so I thought I would like it more. Absolutely not. It's not about what I like. It's not about the aesthetic of the home. It's about what your baby's going to like, and he fucking hates it. He has nothing to want to do with it. It's not strong enough. It only swings forward and backwards. The Snugga-Puppy is where it's at. It's like 80 bucks, maybe 100. I can't remember. You can get it at Target. You can get it anywhere, really. You can get it from Amazon. And it is the traditional swing, but it swings sideways, and it's nice and strong. It has a little spinning mobile. It has nighttime sounds like lullabies. It has daytime lullabies. It has like crickets and shit, which I never use that. But you can also flip it to where it does swing forward to back or side to side. It's just awesome. So much better. He can totally, he'll fall asleep in that thing. Obviously, it's like supervised sleep. We don't leave him in that or anything unsupervised whatsoever. But it is great. I mean, it has really, really helped him. Sometimes where you just need your hands free for a minute so you can wolf down a sandwich. It helps occupy him. I have one of those babies that really doesn't like independent play whatsoever, independent time alone whatsoever. He really likes to be held constantly, but that thing has been a game changer for giving us a little bit of hands-free time. So I love the Fisher-Price Snugga-Puppy. Now, a lot of people recommended the DockATot. I got a lot of use out of it, I'd say in the first couple weeks, but for me, it was not worth the money in the terms that it is so ungodly expensive. And for me, my baby would not have it. You could not put him in it. and then like have it be a place that he could chill. Now it's gonna be so, all of this is variant on your individual child, and that's why these videos are so difficult, because what works for one may not work for the other. Some people have those babies that can totally be set down and they are just chill to hang out. I don't have one of those. My baby needs to be held, entertained constantly. I mean, even from when he was a brand newborn, the second he went to a laying down position where he was just like still, I mean, screaming bloody murder. So for me, it was never helpful to have the DockATot that much. I mean, I had to be touching him while he was in it anyway, so it was like, why not just hold him? So for me, I thought that I really liked it in the beginning, and then I realized that I got about 2-3 weeks worth of use out of it, and for like a $200 price tag for a piece of foam with fabric over the top, ridiculous. I've heard a lot more people say good things about the Snuggle Me, which I also think is expensive, and I also think that there's dupes for all of these out there. The DockATot is not that nice. It is big. It's not that useful though. For me personally, my baby couldn't have given a shit less about it. So I'm gonna say forego the DockATot in my personal opinion. Okay, breast pump. I have the Elvie, and I did a lot of research as well from like Willow, Elvie, and like the other ones that you can get that are like the hospital grade ones. A lot of insurances will give you a free breast pump, which is really nice. I didn't do that because I had a feeling that I was gonna be more like exclusively breastfeeding, meaning like he wasn't gonna get a lot of bottles. I thought that I would actually give him bottles and stuff like that, but it turns out like while I have him, I just ended up not doing it. There's nothing, I have no reason why really, other than it just felt easier to breastfeed him than it did to like pump, wash bottles, sterilize. It just felt like a lot to me, and I was already so anxious and sleep deprived, I couldn't have imagined adding one more step in. But the times that I have pumped, I have used the Elvie. And if you don't know what it is a completely wireless breast pump, and it's silent. So if you are gonna be using it to like, if you're gonna be going to work, or if you need to have some things where you can discreetly pump, it is really, really good. I like the Elvie a lot. Every time I've used it, I feel like I get a decent amount of milk. I like it. I can't really say anything negative about it other than the price tag, which is everything that I mentioned. Baby stuff is stupid expensive. They know that they can charge these prices, and they do. The Elvie's like $500. I actually had it gifted to me, which was incredible and amazing. I would have bought it if not, but I do like it, and I would recommend it. Even if it hadn't been gifted to me and I purchased it myself, I like it. It charges, and it holds a charge pretty well. I would say you'd probably have to charge it like every other time, but it totally works, and I was able to get a decent amount of milk. All right, well, he needed to eat, so we're gonna finish off talking while he's eating, but this is a perfect example of the breast friend pillow, which is what this is, and he's big. He's like almost 17 pounds, and it's been working great still. It still works for him. I mean, his feet kind of hang off the end, but I don't know, still works great, and it's nice and sturdy. For a bath, we bathe him in our kitchen sink, and we have the bath called the Angel Care. It's pretty inexpensive. I think I got it from Amazon or Target, I'm not sure, and it is great. We still use it. He's 5 months old and 17 pounds, and almost 16 and a half pounds. I think it's great. I mean, they kind of just sit right in it, reclined. He tries to flex and sit up now because he's getting to that point where he wants to sit up on his own, but it's been really, really wonderful. You can use it in your bathtub, or if you have a large enough sink, you can use it in your sink. We, for car seats, got the Doona, and for us, it's been incredible. We absolutely love it. Now, this little guy really hates the car seat. He screams his head off still to this day when you put him in it. He doesn't like being restrained. He doesn't like being strapped in. I don't think that that is specific to Doona. I think that it's honestly just anything. He really doesn't like being strapped down. The Doona is a car seat / stroller, so it is 2-in-1, and basically it has this button on the back that you flip down, and the wheels flip down, and it's an instantaneous conversion to a stroller. Now, it's not like a good off-roading stroller or anything, but if you need, it has been incredible. Like when we're like, okay, we got to go to the doctor's office, you just flip the wheels down and you can roll it around instead of having to lug around both a stroller and a car seat. It's just honestly amazing. We love the Doona so much still to this day. Very, very helpful. The only downside to it that we've noticed so far is that when we did get another stroller that you can snap a car seat into, because the Doona is a stroller and car seat in one, it doesn't work. So that's something to keep in mind. It is an infant car seat, goes up I think to 35 pounds. So we really like it. I have no negatives about it. I can't think of any. I really love the fact that we can take him out and go for walks. We can just pull the whole car seat out, flip the button down, and then you can just go for a walk, stroll around. If you're going to a grocery store, if you're going to, you know, walk around a town or anything like that. Like, it's just really, really nice. So we really like the Doona a lot. Swaddle wise, I feel like swaddles are an absolute necessity when you have a newborn. And for us, we really like the Sleepea 5-second swaddle, which is made by the Snoo company, the same one. It's the same type as the Snoo sack. It has these like this Velcro. It's really, really easy. You just literally put their arms in, pull one side, Velcro it, and zip it up. It's a 5-second swaddle, and it really is 5 seconds or less to swaddle them in. And swaddles can be really intimidating, but we really like the Sleepea swaddle. It's our #1. We also really like stretch swaddles when they were little, because you can kind of double them for other things. Like we can use them as a little blankie outside. It makes them look like a cute little glowworm. They're really nice. We like the stretch swaddles a lot. Everything I'm gonna talk about, I'm gonna have linked in the description of this video. We also get a lot of use out of a baby carrier. If you plan on wearing your baby, we really like the Ergo Embrace carrier. We have the Wild Bird Ring Sling. We have the Baby Catan carrier. I also have the Mumsy, which I'll talk about those in another video, but we're talking about newborns here. The Ergo Embrace worked for newborn, and it still works for him at this size. We really like it. We got it at Target, and a lot of people ask what our favorite carrier is, and I can't say that we have a favorite, but of all the ones I just mentioned, I really like that one. It's really easy to put on, it's really easy to figure out, and he doesn't seem to hate it as much. He kind of hates everything initially, so you have to like give things a big try. Oh, hey. Hey. Oh, big bird. See? Clips right on. So nice. Okay, almost to the end. I know this video is long, guys, but I just wanted to get it all done in one. It's so hard to say because I haven't tried them all. I've heard really good things about the Tula. I don't know anything about that. All I can say is that Baby Catan, he cries before I can get him in it because it's just too much fussing. The reason I like the Ergo Embrace is because I have a baby that gets over shit quick. He's like done before you've even started. So when you go to set him in this one, it's a fast, once you figure out how to get him in it, it's really, really fast. So I really like it for that reason, because he doesn't have the opportunity to get super mad at you about it. For tummy time, which I can get into tummy time in a little bit, but I don't know that tummy time is as necessary as people say that it is. Tummy time was introduced because of the Back to Sleep campaign from the AAP. Once they recommended that babies be sleeping on their backs to avoid the flat head that a lot of babies can get, they recommended to do tummy time. Now, tummy time is you basically laying your baby on their tummy so that they can get that neck control. Now, I will just admit, I was terrible at it. I hardly ever did it with him because I just literally didn't remember most of the time, and then I'd be like, shit, we haven't done tummy time in 2 weeks. His neck control is incredible. He can do all the things that other babies can do his age, and he barely had any tummy time. But when we did do it, he screamed his head off. And so that's another reason we didn't do it that often, because it was like torture listening to him literally wail when he was on his tummy. But the one time he does not do that is when he's on a ball. And I actually had this recommendation from a friend on Instagram. She mentioned that she did tummy time on a yoga ball or an exercise ball or like a pregnancy ball, the big one that you bounce on. She used that and like hold your baby on it, obviously safely. You want to do it safely, but because they're not flat on the ground, they're kind of like at this angle, they can still hold their little head up, and he does not scream when you do ball tummy time. It really, really helps. It makes a huge difference. And you know, you can look it up or whatnot, but I found that when we were doing tummy time, if you already have one, you don't have to buy one for this purpose, but if you already had one for pregnancy, try to use it for tummy time. Obviously, you want to have like your hands, you know, very safely on them because they are like up on a little ball. But as long as you're holding their body on there and, you know, they can kind of stretch their neck up, it really, really helped with tummy time without him screaming, because I don't like hearing him scream. Baby monitor wise, we have the Lollipop monitor. Would I recommend it? I don't know. I have really, really crappy internet here. We live in the middle of the woods, you can tell, and we have very, very spotty internet at best. And because it is Wi-Fi enabled baby monitor, it kind of sucks. It cuts out constantly. It still works, but I can't give you a full review on what it would be like for normal people internet. So if you have really good internet, I think the Lollipop will be just fine. And I think that it works and does its purpose. But if you have internet like we do, it might be frustrating because it's like, and then it'll buffer for 2.5 minutes. And you're like, is my baby crying? I literally don't know because the baby monitor is not working. A lot of other people that have it and have decent internet really like it, and it gets good reviews. So I would say don't use me as an example on that one. It's probably fine. And another thing that you will use a ton of, this is the end of my list, but that is burp cloths. Now, a lot of people recommended to me to save some money to get pre-fold diapers to use as burp cloths, and I did. I bought a pack of burp cloths from Amazon and a pack of pre-fold diapers from Amazon as well to see which one I preferred, because they say that pre-fold diapers are about the same size as a burp cloth, but they are meant to absorb liquid, so they're better. I would wholly disagree. I think that the pre-folds that I bought, at least, I don't really like them at all. They're thicker, they wick moisture more than anything, and then people are gonna say, oh, well, you need to strip them. I don't wanna go through all of that. I don't have any time on my hands to be stripping shit like that. I don't have that time, so I'm not gonna do it. But we did get these burp cloths that are actual burp cloths, and I like those so much better. And again, I'm gonna have everything linked down below, but they're like these white, kind of like, they look sort of like meshy looking burp cloths, and we really like them. We ended up using the Honest Company diapers, and we really like them. And we're in size 3 now. He's in size 3. And I like the Honest diapers. I mean, he has blowouts. I don't know if that would happen in other brands, but we've only ever used Honest, and I like them. And we love the Honest wipes. I've tried the Pampers, I've tried the Huggies, I've tried other brands' wipes, but I like Honest the most because they're the wettest, and they are like 99% water, it says, so they're not full of a bunch of shitty ingredients. They don't stink. They're just really good. I really like the Honest wipes way more than the other brands I've tried, which are just so dry. I don't know why they would make wipes as dry as they do, but the Honest wipes are nice and wet, and they work really great. I get mine off of Amazon. I have actually not purchased any diapers at all at the store. I just get them all delivered to the house so that we don't have to leave, and it's really great. You know, I'm probably forgetting some things. I guarantee you I'm forgetting some things, but off the top of my head that were really helpful to us, that helped us survive those first few months, this was my list. This is the things that I feel like are worth your money. Now, there are a lot of things that aren't. There are a lot of products that I purchased that ended up not working. Bassinet wise, because I was really scared to put them in the Snoo in the beginning because I just didn't like it, I, on a whim, in a completely sleep deprived haze, purchased the Halo Bassinet. The first night it seemed okay. I wanted something where he was in literal arm's reach. If I could do it again, I don't know, I would just do the Snoo from the beginning, but if it still felt foreign or scary to me, I would do a crib that was like exactly the same height as my bed and was an extension of my bed, so where no blankets or anything could get in there. I think I would do that. I can't remember what they're called, but they're like a beside bed crib. There are a lot of different ones that are sold, but the only reason I didn't like the Halo Bassinet for us, which we purchased it on a whim, like I was so tired, I was like, I just need anything to help me through this. It ended up just literally being a thing in our room that collects stuff. So it's just sitting there with like a bunch of shit in it. I mean, that's what it ended up being, a complete waste of money for us. A lot of people really like it, and it was a huge recommendation from a lot of you guys for me, but I don't like it because I needed to be able to reach my hand in, and the side does come down to where you can do that, but it doesn't stay down and be flush with the bed. It kind of sits on top of the bed, and they're higher up and you can't easily reach in, and it was a lot for me. My baby didn't like it either. He woke up a ton in it. The first night was fine. Every other subsequent night after that was terrible. So I know a lot of people really like it though, and for me, if I was gonna get a bed that didn't move, if it wasn't the Snoo, I think that one's like $400, and it just kind of ended up being an extra thing, and I'm probably gonna end up donating it or something to somebody that might use it, because we didn't really get any use out of it at all. There are a lot of other things that we purchased, and a lot of other things that you can ask in the comments. I'll try to answer you. I know that everybody's list is different, and that a lot of these things might be, price-wise, not accessible. This is not an exhaustive list. This is just me. This is the stuff that I got. And all of this stuff that I got, I pretty much got off of recommendations of other people. And, some of it I really liked, and some of it ended up being a complete waste of money. And that's just what is gonna happen. But one thing I will tell you, if I can make one recommendation right now, is that I would say get your essentials, things that you think you need in the beginning, and then learn your baby. Because you're gonna have a different baby. Most things can be purchased. I would say get your glider, get your, bed and stuff like that figured out. But most things can be purchased after your baby is born, after you figure out what they kind of like and who they kind of are. And a lot of things that we got ended up being that way. And I think that we could have saved a lot of money, and I could have saved a lot of space. I mean, I literally wasted so much money on clothes that he didn't ever end up wearing. Baby stuff is crazy expensive. Like, they know that they can charge it, and they do. And I just can't believe sometimes. I'll use this as an example. The body pillow that I got when I was pregnant. It's a pregnancy pillow. It was like $30 from Amazon. It's got 10 times the amount of fabric and stuffing as a DockATot, and it was like $30 and a DockATot was like $200 and something. It's stupid that it's like the basically same thing, yet because it's for babies, they know that they can upcharge the literal shit out of it. And it bothers me that they do that, but you know, it kind of, you don't have to get all of this stuff. Not everyone will, you know, have a completely agreed upon list, because every baby and every person is so different, and what I may love, you may hate. What your baby may love, mine might hate, and vice versa. It's just the way that it is. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, because it should be, you know, I'm just a lady on the internet. I don't know. I'm just doing this my first time, and you know, I guarantee you if I had a second kid, I would do things a lot differently, purchase a lot of things differently. But you know, that's just, you just do it the best you can with what you've got. All right, well, I thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was somewhat helpful for you, and I will see you at my next video. Bye.